Have you ever noticed how the most transformative moments of your life arrived disguised as chaos, as if the universe whispered its greatest secrets through your greatest turbulences? There's a deep paradox in the consciousness journey that traditional personal development doesn't dare reveal. The fear you try to eliminate is exactly the force that's trying to elevate you. For decades, we've been conditioned to believe that fear is the enemy of manifestation, that resistance is a sign we're on the wrong path, that true flow should be smooth like a calm river. But quantum physics reveals a revolutionary truth that changes everything. Your resistance isn't an obstacle, it's the portal to your transformation. Perhaps you've experienced those magical moments where everything flows, where you feel aligned with something greater, where synchronicities dance around you as if the cosmos itself were conspiring in your favor. And then, out of nowhere, fear emerges like a giant wave, breaking all that harmony, leaving you questioning whether you were really on the right path. What you didn't know is that this moment of interruption is actually the most sacred moment of the process. It's when two realities meet, who you were and who you're becoming. It's the quantum collapse point, where a new possibility is literally being born through you. Dr. Bruce Lipton revolutionized our understanding of how cells respond to environment, revealing that resistance isn't stubbornness, but survival programming. When he discovered that the cell doesn't resist change out of malice, it resists because it was programmed to survive in the known environment. He gave us the key to understanding why our own nervous system sabotages, precisely when we're closest to the quantum leap. Your brain can't distinguish between a real threat and an identity change. For it, any alteration in the known pattern is danger. That's why when you start vibrating at a different frequency, when your new identity begins to emerge, all internal alarms go off. It's not failure. It's perfect functioning of a system designed for your survival in the known world. The revelation that changes everything is this: staying in flow doesn't mean absence of fear, but learning to dance consciously with it. It's recognizing that each wave of resistance is actually the universe testing your new frequency, validating whether you're really ready to inhabit a new reality. When you change the internal environment, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, your consciousness cell has no choice but to adapt to the new reality. But this adaptation process isn't linear or smooth. It's quantum, turbulent, revolutionary. And it's exactly in this turbulence that your true transformation happens. Imagine a violinist tuning his instrument before a performance. Before finding the perfect note, he needs to go through moments of dissonance, where the strings fight against each other until they find harmony. Your transformation works exactly like this. What you call interruption is actually the sacred moment, where your old frequency is being recalibrated to a superior one. The first great illusion we need to dismantle is the myth of linearity. We've been conditioned to believe that transformation should be smooth, progressive, like a staircase where we climb step by step without stumbles. But the quantum nature of reality doesn't work this way. Observe a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. It's not a gentle process. It's a complete rupture of the previous form, to give birth to something totally new. When you're about to make a quantum leap, your ancestral nervous system panics. It can't distinguish between a real threat and an identity change. For it, any alteration in the known pattern is mortal danger. That's why when you start vibrating at a different frequency, when your new identity begins to emerge, all internal alarms fire simultaneously. Your reptilian brain, responsible for survival, activates protocols that have existed for millions of years. It releases cortisol, accelerates your heart, contracts your muscles, clouds your peripheral vision, all to prepare you to fight or flee from a threat that in reality is your own evolution trying to happen. It's not failure. It's perfect functioning of a system designed for your survival in the known world. The quantum collapse point is where two realities meet: who you were and who you're becoming. It's literally the moment when a new possibility is being born through you. Quantum physics teaches us that a particle can exist in multiple states simultaneously until being observed. You're living this principle when you feel you're between worlds, neither totally in your old identity, nor completely in the new one. The necessary recalibration is like a radio losing the signal from one station while searching for another. There are moments of static, noise, interference, but this doesn't mean the radio is broken. It means it's tuning to a different frequency. Your frequency needs to break before reorganizing into a superior pattern, and it's exactly in this breaking that fear emerges with greatest intensity. The turbulence isn't a sign you're on the wrong path. It's a sign you're on the right path, but at a speed that challenges everything you knew about change. The universe isn't testing your faith. It's validating your new identity. Each wave of resistance is a question. Do you really want to be this new version of yourself, or do you prefer to return to the known? When you understand that interruption is an integral part of the process, not a failure of it, everything changes. You stop fighting against the waves and learn to surf them. You recognize that fear isn't your enemy trying to sabotage you. It's your disguised ally, signaling that real transformation is happening. Quantum physics teaches us that the observer influences the observed. But here's what few understand. You're observing all the time, even when you don't realize it. Your unconscious attention is constantly collapsing realities, and often they're not the ones you consciously desire. It's like being a film director who doesn't know they're directing, creating scenes they later question why they exist in their life. When you just observe fear without becoming a conscious observer, you're actually feeding it with your attention. It's like keeping a fire alive by throwing wood on it absent-mindedly. Every time you focus on what you don't want, every time you mentally relive the scenarios that scare you, you're sending a clear signal to the quantum field. This is important to me. Bring more of this. The trap of passive observation is subtle but devastating. You believe you're being conscious by observing your fears, but you're actually being unconscious about the power of your observation. It's the difference between watching a movie and directing a movie. When you just watch, you're a victim of the story. When you direct, you consciously choose each scene. Your phantom identity, old versions of you that still exist in the quantum field, continues voting for the familiar reality, even if painful. It's as if multiple versions of yourself were in a constant election, deciding which reality to manifest. And often, the old versions win by majority, simply because they're more familiar, more real to your nervous system. The mixed signal happens when your conscious mind wants one thing, but your subconscious programming is sending a completely different frequency. It's like trying to tune a radio station with interference. The universe can't clearly deliver what you're asking for because you're transmitting two frequencies at the same time. Imagine you're asking for abundance, but your phantom identity is whispering, "I don't deserve it," in the back of your mind. Or you're manifesting love, but part of you still believes people always abandon me. These phantom voices aren't just thoughts. They're active frequencies competing with your conscious desires. The key to conscious observation is becoming the observer who chooses which reality to collapse. It's not about eliminating fears or old identities. It's about recognizing that you have the power to choose which one to focus your creative attention on. When you observe consciously, you're not just seeing, you're choosing. Your attention is your quantum magic wand. Where you direct it, energy flows. What you observe with intention expands. What you observe with fear also expands. The difference isn't in what you observe, but in how you observe, as a victim of circumstances or as a conscious creator of your reality. Nature doesn't know straight lines. Observe the growth of a plant, the movement of planets, the flow of a river. Everything moves in spirals, cycles, waves. Why would your transformation be different? We've been conditioned to believe that spiritual progress should be like climbing a staircase, step by step, always upward, without stumbles. But this is a dangerous illusion that makes us fight against the very geometry of reality. True flow works like an ascending spiral. You may pass through the same emotional points several times, but each turn of the spiral takes you to a higher level of understanding. What seems like repetition is actually progression, in a dimension your linear eyes can't see. It's like a symphony. The same notes return, but in increasingly complex and beautiful harmonies. Trying to stay always high, always aligned, always in flow is fighting against the mathematics of frequencies. It's like trying to make a guitar play only one note. You'd lose all the music. The beauty lies in the dance between different frequencies, in the conscious oscillation that creates the melody of your transformation. The anchor points aren't to avoid the waves. They're to navigate through them with wisdom. It's the difference between a boat that fights against the storm and one that uses the winds to reach its destination. These points are like internal lighthouses you create. A deep breath that reconnects you. A phrase that reminds you who you really are. A sensation in the body that anchors you in your truth. The dance of polarities is where magic happens. When you accept that you'll oscillate between expansion and contraction, between clarity and confusion, between confidence and doubt, you stop wasting energy fighting against the natural process. You recognize that each low is actually an impulse for the next high, like a wave that recedes to gain strength. The quantum rhythm of consciousness works like breathing. There are moments of inspiration and moments of expiration, moments of receiving and moments of integrating. When you synchronize with this natural rhythm, flow becomes effortless. You stop forcing and start flowing. Stop pushing and start being pulled by the natural current of your evolution. Your resistance to the natural movement of waves is what creates suffering, not the waves themselves. It's like trying to stop the ocean with your hands. You only hurt yourself in the process. When you learn to surf the waves of your own transformation, each movement becomes a dance. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to demonstrate your inner mastery. Are you feeling this new understanding expanding within you? This perception that maybe you've been fighting against the very process that was trying to elevate you. Before we advance to the next codes, leave in the comments a word or phrase that represents the new relationship you're creating with fear. Your declaration is your signal to the quantum field. Fear is your most precise compass. It always points toward the direction of your growth. When you feel fear of something, it's not because you should avoid it. It's because your soul recognizes that there lies your next expansion. It's as if your higher consciousness were whispering, "Here is the portal to who you really are." The universe isn't cruel, it's efficient. And the most efficient way to test whether you've really embodied a new identity is through situations that challenge that identity. It's like a final exam of life, not to fail you, but to validate that you've really learned the lesson. Each episode of fear is a cosmic question. Will you react from your old identity or respond from the new one? Resistance functions like a quantum compass. The greater the resistance, the closer you are to your evolutionary destiny. That's why the most intense fears usually point to the most powerful gifts you came to deliver to the world. Your discomfort zone isn't a place to be avoided. It's sacred territory to be explored. The quantum validation protocol works like this. The universe presents scenarios that test your new frequency, not to punish you, but to strengthen your new identity through practice. It's like a muscle that only develops when challenged. Your new version only becomes real when tested in situations that would have previously knocked you down. The alchemy of transformation happens when you learn to use fear's energy as fuel for the leap. Instead of running from adrenaline, you redirect it. Instead of contracting with anxiety, you expand it into courage. Fear doesn't disappear, it transmutes into power. It's the same energy, just with a different direction. Each moment of choice is an opportunity to strengthen your new frequency or reinforce the old one. When fear arises, you have a sacred window of approximately 90 seconds to decide. Will you react automatically or respond consciously? This conscious choice is what solidifies your transformation at the cellular level. Consciousness graduation happens when you realize you no longer need to prove anything to fear. You simply recognize it. Thank it for the information it brings about your next expansion, and choose to act from your highest truth. It's not about not feeling fear. It's about not being controlled by it. When you understand that fear is your disguised ally, everything changes. You stop running from challenging situations and start approaching them with curiosity. You recognize that each test is actually a gift, an opportunity to demonstrate to yourself how much you've already evolved. When fear arises, you have approximately 90 seconds before it becomes a neurological storm. In this sacred window of opportunity, you can do a complete reset of your nervous system. It's like having a quantum restart button that's always available, but few know how to access. The neurological reset happens the moment you recognize fear as information, not as absolute truth. When you feel the familiar contraction in your chest, the acceleration of your heart, the mental fog that emerges, you have a choice. Enter the autopilot of reaction or activate the conscious pilot of response. The difference between these two paths determines whether you strengthen your old identity or your new one. Quantum anchoring works by creating internal reference points that instantly connect you to your new identity's frequency. It's like having direct shortcuts to your flow state, independent of external circumstances. It could be a specific breath you've trained, a word that resonates with your truth, a body sensation you've cultivated in moments of clarity. Your physiology is a direct bridge to the quantum field. When your heart and mind enter coherence, you become a powerful transmitter of the reality you want to manifest. The heart coherence protocol involves synchronizing your breathing with your heartbeats, creating a coherent electromagnetic field that communicates clarity to the universe. The observer's breath is an ancestral technology disguised as simplicity. When you breathe consciously, not just to oxygenate the body, but to change your frequency, you're literally altering your brain chemistry in real time. Each conscious inhalation is a vote for the reality you want to create. Each conscious exhalation is a release of the reality you want to leave behind. Quantum visualization goes beyond imagining what you want. It's feeling yourself in the desired reality with such intensity that your nervous system can't distinguish between what's happening in your mind and what's happening in the physical world. When you visualize with this quality of presence, you're not just dreaming, you're collapsing a quantum possibility into tangible experience. These aren't techniques to use only in crisis moments. They're consciousness technologies to integrate into your daily life until they become as natural as breathing. When you master these tools, you no longer need to wait for circumstances to be perfect to feel aligned. You carry your own center, your own source of coherence wherever you go. In the quantum field, all possibilities exist simultaneously. This means the most elevated version of you already exists and is constantly sending signals to your present. What you call intuition, synchronicities, or coincidences are actually messages from your future version trying to guide you to it. It's like having a cosmic GPS that already knows the destination, even when your conscious mind is still lost on the map. Reverse attraction is a revolutionary concept that inverts everything you learned about manifestation. It's not you trying to reach the future, it's the future pulling you toward it. Your evolved version has a quantum gravitational force that constantly attracts your current version. When you align with this force, flow becomes natural, effortless, like a current that takes you exactly where you need to be. Temporal entanglement works like invisible threads connecting who you are today with who you're becoming. Each conscious decision strengthens this connection. Each moment you choose to act from your most elevated version, you're literally pulling that future reality into your present. That's why sometimes you feel you've lived something before living it, because at some quantum level, you already have. The signals from your superior version arrive in subtle ways. A song that plays at the exact moment. A conversation that answers exactly the question you are asking internally. An opportunity that emerges from nowhere. Your evolved version is constantly whispering guidance, but you need to tune to the right frequency to hear them. It's like having an invisible mentor who knows all the shortcuts to your realization. The quantum bridge is created through conscious connection with who you're becoming. When you converse with your future version, when you ask for advice, when you feel how it moves through the world, you're creating a direct communication channel between dimensions. The more real this connection becomes, the more inevitable your transformation becomes. It's like having access to the codes of your own destiny. The inevitability of transformation is one of the most liberating truths of quantum physics. Resisting your evolution is just postponing what's already happening. Your superior version isn't a distant possibility. It's a reality approaching you with each moment, each breath, each heartbeat, each conscious thought is pulling you toward this version of yourself that already exists in the field of infinite possibilities. When you understand that the future is pulling you, everything relaxes. You stop forcing and start flowing. You stop pushing and start being pulled by the natural current of your evolution. Your journey stops being a fight against the unknown and becomes a dance with the inevitable. The greatest paradox of alignment is that the more you try to maintain it, the more it escapes. It's like trying to hold water with closed hands. The more force you apply, the more it slips between your fingers. Permanent flow doesn't come from constant effort, but from naturalizing the new frequency until it becomes as automatic as breathing. The illusion of effort makes us believe we need to work hard to stay aligned, that it's a constant battle against our old tendencies. But the quantum truth is the opposite. When you stop trying to be someone aligned and simply become someone who is alignment, everything relaxes. It's the difference between pretending to be something and simply being something. Naturalization happens through conscious repetition until the new frequency becomes unconscious. It's like learning to drive. At first, you need to think about each movement: clutch, brake, accelerator, steering wheel. But eventually, driving becomes second nature. Your new quantum identity works the same way, through conscious practice until it becomes automatic. The personal morphogenetic field is the energetic environment you create around you through your consistent frequency. When this field is established, it automatically sustains your transformation, attracting people, situations, and opportunities that reinforce your new reality. It's like creating an invisible magnet that aligns everything around you with who you've become. Your quantum identity is who you are when you're not trying to be anyone. It's your natural essence when all masks fall, when all performances stop. For someone with developed quantum identity, flow isn't something that happens occasionally. It's the default state of existence. Misalignment becomes the exception, not the rule. Navigation mastery is developing the ability to surf any wave without losing center. It's not about avoiding life's storms, but about maintaining your essence intact, independent of external weather. It's like a tree that bends with the wind but never breaks, that remains rooted even in the greatest storms. When you reach this level of mastery, you carry your own internal climate. External circumstances may change, people may come and go, challenges may arise and pass, but you remain connected to your inner source. You become a point of stability in a constantly moving world, a lighthouse for others who are still learning to navigate their own waves. The revelation that liberates is this: you never left the flow. You just forgot how to recognize it in its different forms. Fear, resistance, turbulence, all of this is the flow moving through you, reorganizing your reality for something greater. It's like a river that sometimes runs smooth and sometimes forms rapids, but never stops being a river. You spent your entire life looking outside for what was always available inside, looking in techniques, masters, books, courses, retreats, when the truth is that you are the very source you are seeking. Each moment of searching was actually a moment of forgetting your essential nature. Each technique you learned was just a reminder of what you already knew at deeper levels of consciousness. Joe Dispenza reminds us of a transformative truth. You don't need to become something you're not. You need to stop pretending to be something you never were. Your true nature is the very flow of life, expressing itself through your unique form. When you stop fighting against this and allow yourself to be this, your life becomes a constant dance with mystery. Integration happens now, in this moment. First, recognize that you already are what you seek. Alignment isn't a destination, it's your nature. Second, allow fear to be your ally, not your enemy. Each wave of resistance is the universe sculpting a more refined version of who you are. Third, trust the process, even when you can't see the complete picture. Your transformation is happening in dimensions your linear mind can't map. Your transformation journey isn't about arriving somewhere. It's about remembering who you always were and allowing that truth to express itself fully through your life. Flow isn't something you enter, it's something you are. When you understand this, each breath becomes a celebration. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to dance with your own magnificence. The quantum promise is simple. When you stop fighting against the flow and become it, your life stops being a series of problems to be solved and becomes a symphony to be lived. Each note, even the dissonant ones, contributes to the beauty of the whole. You're no longer someone trying to align. You are alignment itself in movement. If this video resonated with something deep within you, if you felt a new understanding being born, leave your comment below sharing what was the most powerful insight for you. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving these transformation codes, and share this video with someone who needs to remember their true nature. Your awakening journey isn't solitary. We are a community of courageous souls, reminding each other of who we really are.